Okay, hello, good morning. So I'm crazy tired today. I like one great thing about becoming a parent is that if you have problems getting to sleep, you'll stop having that problem. But now the kids are getting older, and like yesterday, I couldn't get to sleep. And I definitely feel that today. So we're gonna see how well I'm able to reason about things. Often when I feel like so tired that I find myself just staring at the screen, I just go to sleep like for 30 minutes, and then typically that brings me back. But yeah, let's see how far we get with this. So I actually got to some coding this weekend on the project, and what I've done is that I've created this Sandpack environment context, which actually exports the actual provider as well. That cleans up quite a bit. I'm not sure if we actually want to write the files here, but we're gonna figure that out. And then we have a new Sandpack state context. So we're gonna have some shared internal state, and that's the Sandpack state context. And then we're also gonna add Sandpack options context. And that's gonna be quite similar on this, of course, called options. And this is just gonna give us access to the options passed into the Sandpack provider, Sandpack options context, and Sandpack options. Yeah, so these options are actually, let's see, and then I move the actual, where are the components? There you are. File Explorer preview. Yeah, the provider, I move that into the actual components. Yeah, it's called Sandpack provider props. So let's just use those for now. Yeah, and this is not going to be state. I actually think we're going to use a ref for this, because I don't really want passing these options to cause a deep reconciliation using the options. So we're going to use an options ref. So by doing this, if no options ref, yeah, and then we're of course going to take the actual options there. Sandpack provider props. Options. So yeah, because the risk is that if you, as a consumer of the of Sandpack, pass in like an object for your options, and you're kind of reconciling that thing quite often, what's going to happen is that that options object is going to be a new reference every time, and then we're going to just pass it straight into a context, and it's going to reconcile the hell out of everything. So we're just going to do this, and then why am I always so confused by this? Let's see, now I'm gonna have Sandpack options, and this would be options ref.current. Why are you saying this? Does not exist on type. Oh, sorry, current. Yes, and then this would be Sandpack options context. And then we're going to bring that as well into our Sandpack provider. So this will be Sandpack. Well, let's put that at the top here. We're going to put it actually at the way at the top here. Sandpack options context. Sorry. Options provider. Cool. Yeah, and this is gonna be props. And so I think we're gonna actually, yeah, maybe let's see, how does this actually look like? Yeah, let's actually use options. Let's see, let's get back here. Options context, we're actually gonna use what do we call it? Yeah, Sandpack internal options. There we go. We're going to use that instead. And then we have, so this will be props, this will be the actual options, isn't it? Oh, can it be undefined? Then I guess it can also be an empty object. Oh, but that's going to cause the same problem. No, that's not going to cause it. That's why I used the ref, sorry. Okay, so we have, so that's the thing I worked on, and the other thing I worked on was in environments now. We have, I can't remember if I did this weekend, but now that you just create a preview, and the preview is creating the iframe and everything. Yeah, you know what? I think we should just run this now because I'm not sure about the state of things. Sandpack, React, yarn build. Maybe I'll get some type errors here. Yeah. Yeah, Sandpack React context. Doesn't matter, we're not going to be using that. As any. Code editor. Oh yeah, the actual code editor. So I prepped some of the code editor. It has a lot of stuff. And then we have something called use active code, which I'm not sure. So what I rather want this code to, this code editor to read the file asynchronously from the file system. So that's going to require us to introduce some states for that. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, because this is just active file.read only. Yeah, so this read only stuff is something you can configure on your options. So we're going to use, but maybe we could call this like not use active code. One thing I don't like, so the reason I put like the full provider and the hook and everything in context is that you actually know that the hook is a context. In this case, use active code is like can be used anywhere. And that's what I kind of dislike, or is a challenge with organizing hooks, is like you don't know if the hook is designed for one single component, if it's designed for being consumed by multiple components, or it's designed to be used with a context. So it's all about how you organize them. And that requires like, what's it called? Like discipline and like shared common patterns with the rest of the team and everything. And that's really hard to keep up with. Yeah, so I'm not sure if we're gonna actually use that. I think at least for now we're gonna, let's see, let's comment that out so we know about the read-only stuff. And then we're rather gonna use the environment to go and read the file. Now the challenging thing is that it's async, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen to code mirror because initially there isn't any code. It's only after we read it that we actually have some code. So I think we should have code set code equals use state. And then it's like empty. And then we're just going to use a simple, yeah, let's just comment out everything we're a little bit unsure about. Oh, false. Yeah, and then active file is something we're gonna get from use Sandpack state. So this state is gonna give us the active file. But the thing is that we might not have an active file. So I'm not quite sure about that. I think maybe we have to have an active file. So for now, we're actually gonna hard code that to the index.html file. But then I believe, yeah, I'm actually a little bit unsure about that. Because we don't know what the active file is. Maybe we could, yeah, you know what? Maybe we could just return null or something. Active file unique ID, where's that coming from? Why do we need an active file unique ID? Like we can just use the path of the file? Hi there. Yes, I'm working on, so just to give a quick summary, Sandpack. So CodeSandbox has something called Sandpack, which is really a browser bundling experience with a code editor. And we're gonna revamp it a lot. It's gonna support VMs as well. And you're gonna be able to use it at an even higher abstraction, which is like now it's primed for you putting into blogs and stuff like that. But we're gonna make it an actual playground as well, because you can use the CodeSandbox API key now to get access to your content. So it's gonna be like a mini CodeSandbox. Yeah, I guess that's the simplest way to put it. Oh, did I? Oh, there we are. But to do that, it requires a lot of rework under the hood because everything was written for this specific browser bundler. And then we've added some other environments on top of that. A static environment, which doesn't have a bundler. Well, I work at CodeSandbox, I worked at CodeSandbox for over 4 years until we got acquired by Together. So now I work at Together, but at Together I still work on CodeSandbox features. Because even though CodeSandbox is kind of known for, well, really it's like browser bundling experience. And then CodeSandbox tried to like pivot because there wasn't any money in that. People don't want to pay for that. Oh, you actually use it. That's awesome. Yeah, but people don't want to pay for browser sandboxes, which is understandable. So we try to pivot into like cloud development using VMs. So we also have this amazing VM technology. But developers didn't want to use it, which is also understandable. But then AI happened. And without us knowing it, we had built this amazing infrastructure for AIs to code in the cloud. So that's what we're doing with Together is integrating our infrastructure and our products into more of an AI offering. But at the same time, we have this like core amazing experience for developers, which is basically Sandpack. That's what Sandpack represents. So we want to kind of revamp that into more of a self-host product, I guess, where you can just use the API key from CodeSandbox to get persistence out of the box and usage-based billing if you're using VMs and stuff like that. And then CodeSandbox kind of becomes more of this, it becomes more of a developer platform than like jumping in than a playground platform, I guess, or a development platform. So it's more offering, how should I put it? More offering SDKs for developers to build new experiences as opposed to us creating like an experience. Because creating a product is very, very difficult. especially getting money for it. But creating developer tools, that's something we kind of already do, and we're pretty good at it. So it's much better to create products for developers and startups and companies to create their own products. Yeah. So you can do exactly, and that's the flexibility we want. It's like you want to use the technology for something, and if you want to use your own database, you can do that. Or if you just want to run your own playground in the company, for example, but you still want persistence at CodeSandbox, you can just use an API key and then it's rolling, and so on and so on. So yeah. But yeah, as I mentioned, like Sandpack was built for a browser bundler, and all the abstractions, all the interfaces are built around that. But now we have like a static environment in there. We have Nodebox, which is gonna be deprecated in favor of VMs, but it's still in there, and then we have VMs on top of that. So I'm kind of reworking the internals of the library to kind of support like a more generic type of environment, so that you can more easily have the same experience regardless of doing browser bundling, static, even Notebooks or VMs. Yeah, and I'm currently at the CodeEditor, which now needs to... And also I'm doing this because I haven't actually worked on Sandpack before. I've been focused on like the cloud not the infrastructure, but the cloud product that we developed. So I'm also doing this to just get ownership in the library and the code, and just learn about the code and understand what all these different options do and everything. And hopefully we'll get a better result at the end. It's very likely. Sandpack is very much a product of a lot of iterations, a lot of added features without rethinking the underlying abstractions, which is like so typical for any project, really. But I think that's kind of what I do. That's kind of one of my skill sets, is like looking at something that has kind of grown to the point where it can't scale efficiently anymore, and then kind of refactoring it so that it can scale again. Where were we? Yeah, so we're just gonna try to run a use effect here, at least for now. And this use effect is gonna use the environment to read the file, but do we actually get the path of the file? Oh yeah, we're using the active file. Okay, so state active file. So if we have a state active file, we are gonna go in and we are gonna, yeah, basically we're gonna do that, but it's async, so content, I guess. And this code, it's not .code, it's the actual... Can it be undefined? That's weird. That's not right. Am I saying that it can be undefined? Where are you? Read file. No, it should throw if it's undefined. And then, let's see, read file. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna rebuild that Sandpack environment. Rebuild. You know what? We're gonna add another one here. Sandpack React. Cool. So now we should have file content, and file content can be a string. Type of content equals string. We're gonna have content, or we're gonna use, what's it called? New text decoder. Yeah. Yeah, so this is gonna be, yeah, no file there. Okay, so this should effectively, like it is running a promise in the use effect, which you shouldn't really do. So we could like add an abort controller here, or whatever, but for now that's fine. And then here we're gonna actually I guess we're just gonna should update preview. Why is that here? Where was that coming from? Update code, use active code. So this is like one of the examples of how it's bound to the old way, like update code, and then you pass in an option of should update preview. Like if you're on a VM, you can't decide that. Like if you're running Vite, it's gonna update the code or update the preview, right? So, so that's kind of the stuff I'm kind of untangling here. No, wait, was that use active? Wait, what was I using? It was, yeah, use active code, update code, Sandpack, update current file. So what I've been thinking, I actually been thinking about this Sandpack environments is going to replace Sandpack client, but we might still keep Sandpack client, but it won't have VM functionality because it's so bound to the bundling experience. But that's something to evaluate later. Maybe the Sandpack environments interface is actually going to be better for people using only the browser bundling. But yeah, we'll see. Use Sandpack. Wasn't it use Sandpack? Oh. Again. So we're in CodeEditor. Where are you? Don't need that. CodeEditor. Use active code. Sorry, I lost track of things. And then we have use Sandpack. Update current file. Where's that coming from? There's no update current file here. Oh, we're grabbing Sandpack from use Sandpack. That was confusing. So it's coming from Sandpack state. Yeah, so you're like run Sandpack, register bundler, like all of this stuff makes absolutely no sense on a VM. But then we have update current file. Where do we have any? Maybe that's actually in Sandpack client then. Let's see if we can find it. I'm just very curious what that. Find in folder, update current file. No. Where the hell is that implemented? Oh, look at me navigating like I have no idea what I'm doing. Use active. Okay, so that's coming from use files, which is calling update file, which is here, and then should update preview. I find that okay. Anyways, we're gonna remove that. No idea what that does. This seems to be a state, which is kind of weird. So let's just remove that. And then we're gonna do nfs write file, state active file. Yeah, I guess we need to new code. Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure about this. Yeah, like I'm taking these like I have an idea of what I want to do, like how I think it should work, and then I'm constantly discovering things like what is this option, what does it do, and then I kind of diverge a bit and just dive into trying to understand what the option does, and then I just kind of time box it a little bit, and if I don't understand exactly what that option or that argument or parameter does, I just remove it for now, because it doesn't fit my mental model of how it should work. And there's like huge risk I'm removing stuff that's like important, but we're gonna do like a full review of everything later. The most important thing is to get like the fundamental abstractions in, so that it's actually possible to run all these different environments with the components and all of this, and also being able to load sandboxes. And like currently you pass in the files to Sandpack and then you manipulate them, but we also want to enable you to just give an ID, like a CodeSandbox ID, and then you load it from our database, kind of like what you're doing, right? So you have your own database, and I guess you have a URL with an ID in it, and then you load the thing. But we won't allow you to do that for any CodeSandbox ID as well. So one thing is introducing like the new VM environment, which just operates completely different from the browser bundler. And another thing is that, yeah, we don't only want you to like actually pass in the files. We want you to just pass in an ID, and then internally it will resolve the actual contents of the sandbox, it being on the VM or it being from our database. Because on a VM, the files are on the VM. If it's a browser sandbox, the files are in our database currently, which also needs to change, actually. We have to change our persistence. Because we have millions on millions on millions of sandboxes, and it's starting to reach a limit. So this active file unique ID doesn't make sense to me. We're gonna remove that. Yeah, the way I'm just doing it is matching the file names from my DB, because I can't figure out another way to actually identify the files itself. Yeah. Oh, file tabs is actually part of CodeEditor. That's interesting. Yeah, but file tabs, active file unique ID. Why do we suddenly have unique ID here? Like the path of a file is unique. Yeah, that's interesting. So let's remove that. Yes, and then if we don't actually have an active file, what are we gonna do about that? Like we could return nothing, but we can also return an empty code editor, but that doesn't really make sense, does it? So, okay, so what we're gonna do now, or for now, is if we don't have an active file, we're just gonna return null. Wait, why is this? Oh, sorry, I forgot something. Contact, throw new error. Ah, throw new error, invalid use of return context. I think we need to do this for options as well. Context, if no context, throw new error, invalid use of Thank you. Cool. Where are you, code editor? Code editor. There you are. Okay, so if we don't have an active file, we're just going to return null for now. And yeah, we should not need this active file thing. Key is state active file and editor state. Ooh. And then we have, yeah, auto reload is not a thing here. Read only. Where is read only coming from? Yeah, so this is also like, I have no idea, like why is there a read only coming in as a prop and there's a read only coming from the file itself? Is there like a global read only thing maybe? Yeah, that could be it. But then I rather want to make that like an option. So we're going to consume the options and then we get, yeah, so like read only, show read only. Like what's the difference? Anyways, we're going to comment this out and we're going to say false for now. And what the hell is init mode? Expensive, might overload memory user. Oh. Init mode. Is that also something coming from the options? But this makes sense. Yeah, I think there's been like some mix of I think I know what it is. It's like I think I know what it is. So because Sandpack supports having a single component that mounts everything, including the code editor, it needs to have all the options at the top level. But you're also able to compose in the elements you want or the components you want, like the code editor. And then you can also pass the same options on the code editor component. That makes sense, but yeah, it would be nice if those options were like very specific to, yeah, how would I actually do that? Yeah, I think I would make that consistent so that you would never pass anything directly to the code editor. You would always, like, the thing about like designing APIs is it's better to have one way of doing things than having two ways of doing things, just to like reduce mental overhead. Like making a decision on what fits best often requires a lot of like mental effort, and often at the end of the day that decision doesn't actually have any practical effect. So as an example here, if you're passing in code editor options from like the top level Sandpack component, or if you pass it on the actual editor component, that doesn't matter for the end result, but you have to make a decision where to put it. So it's much easier to just say, no, just put it on the Sandpack top level component. You'll get like a code editor options property. And then it doesn't matter if you're composing in your own code editor or you're using just the top level Sandpack component. It's always that code editor option. And then you don't have to think about it. That's just the way it works. But I'm making assumptions here. So additional languages, wrap content. What are we gonna do? Okay, so this can be undefined, so we're gonna wait with this one as well. Oh, it can't be undefined. Okay, what does it need to be then? Wait, init mode? What is init mode? Init mode, Sandpack. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. I know now. It's like when you scroll through stuff. But this is great. Let's just call it immediate for now. And then we're gonna add, can I put a comment here to do? Rather pass component specific options from the top always. And I guess you could argue like maybe you have multiple code editors and one should have different options than the other code editor. Maybe. Let's see, show run button. So this is also, this is gonna be quite difficult because I don't really want, so my mental image of this is that Sandpack has a set of components like a code editor, file explorer, and a preview, doesn't know about the environment. But then you have things like the run button. Yeah, I wish I had some analytics on the usage of the different things. Okay, we're just going to comment that one out as well. I have no idea what we're going to do about that. I just want to get this code editor running. And then we have editor state. And what the hell is editor state? Oh, nice. It's only if it's dirty or not. So how do we know if it's dirty or not? Yeah, because I'm not sure. Like when I change the code, okay, we're just gonna call it pristine for now. I wonder what's actually gonna happen when I change the code. Will it even change the code, or do I actually need to update this code? And how do we match that with the loaded code? But okay, let's just build that and then see if we can get anything running here. Was it 74? Okay, was it 75? Was it 73? Oh yeah. So we have Sandpack layout. It's actually also using Sandpack. Where is Sandpack layout? Where is Sandpack layout? Well, I guess I can find it like this. Sandpack layout. Oh, common components. I guess is this Sandpack layout? Yes, it is. So what are you using Sandpack for? What the hell? There's so many options there. Elements, element refs, different components inside it. Wait, what does it say? Element refs. what does this mean? Element refs, different element refs. Must be a typo. Inside the Sandpack program might. Huh? What the hell does this mean? Lazy anchor ref. Anchor ref. I think there's a lot of stuff that's like even not documented. Yeah. We're just gonna use combined refs. I'm gonna remove it. Cool. React is not defined. That was in the module list. Module list. Why are you saying React? Wait, which file is this? This is the module list. React is not defined? Oh, it's inside use environment. Sorry. Use environment. Yeah, so this is the Sandpack environment provide context. Oh yeah. This isn't typed yet in React. Cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure about us using suspense for loading the environment, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, and then we have use Sandpack again. Where are we using Sandpack? From where? Use error message. Oh, error overlay is also. OMG. So this is also using Sandpack shell. We're not going to use environment. So we're going to use restart from environment. Oh, use error message. Oh, here we have Sandpack. Team ID. That's something we're going to get from the options. Run Sandpack. Yeah, again, it's like all bound to Sandpack. Yeah, I don't understand what team ID is. Like, how can you sign into? I never heard of this functionality that you can actually sign into Sandpack. Oh, is it when previews are private? That's probably it. Yeah, but we don't need that anymore, I think. Because when we have an API key. Yeah, okay, that's going to be interesting. So this will be n restart. We don't have any run Sandpack anymore. So at least we need to remove that one to do figure out what team ID is for and how it works. Let's drop that one. There's no dispatch here anymore, but I think use error messages is also using Sandpack. Why? There's an error on Sandpack. Okay, let's just drop that one. Ignore our message and no children? Why no children? That's weird to me. Our message or children? Why would you not have children? Error overlay. That's transpiled code. And this is coming from the preview. Okay, I think error overlay needs to change. Like it needs to actually take the error message. Like it's so implicit that it just grabs random errors from different contexts. It should rather be from the consumer. The consumer should be responsible for yeah, and then we only show it if we actually have an error. So this wouldn't be the case anymore. Children can be optional, that's fine. Oh yeah, no, this isn't good. Privacy is Sandpack. Yeah, so these error things, they should be from the consumer. Like, yeah, so these errors should really come from, oh, how should we do that? We might have to generalize errors a lot more because these are like specific to like npm registry and Sandpack client. Again, the bundler, specific to the bundler. But these are couldn't connect to server. Well, this is quite, oh, map bundler errors. Process exit. And I don't know if this is, and this is the problem, is that after we introduce nodebox and static, a lot of these errors are specific to those environments, but you don't know it by reading the code. Because there is no server crash. Like you can have server crash with nodebox, but you can't have that with just the bundler. So it's just built on top, on top, on top, on top. What are we gonna do about this? So the environments package can export certain errors. Oh my god, what are we gonna do about this? So what we can rather do is that we can create some specific errors that you can check. And then we can say, so if it's like type of or instance of Sandpack error, we can go in and we have some additional properties on Sandpack error where you can check like the type of error. So you have like bundler error, you have private dependency error, stuff like that. And then we have specific UIs for it here, which is fine. Yeah. So if it's a bundler error and you have an error message, and a map bundler errors. Oh. And then map bundler errors is just this like crazy check on process exit. What are we gonna do about this? I want to, and why do we have error message or children? I don't think that makes sense either. Like you would rather from, yeah, no, I don't think it makes sense to pass an error here. You should only pass children, and then it's up. So error overlay props is really just the overlay, and then children. And then the children has to be, the consumer has to define these things. Yeah, so you can give it like a title and then a description. But then you have to give it children to like, yeah. Okay, so let's change that. So we can say children like this. So title is a string. Yeah, and there's also this convention where we mix custom properties with HTML properties, and I don't like that. It's very hard to find what are custom properties versus attributes. So what I think is better is to do, well, in this case, let's see, other props. Do we spread that thing somewhere? Yes, we do. But then I would rather say attributes. We don't have other props, we have attributes. And don't have to pass them. But then class name, why is class name taken out? Oh, because we compose it in. Yeah, okay, that's fair. But then I would do attributes. I think you can do, can't you do like all class names? You can do this. And then attributes. And then same here. Attributes. Okay, so, and then we're gonna have a title and a description. And then you can choose to add some children there if you want to do that. I think doing children React Node says you don't have to have them, but let's do this for just to be certain. And then we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this or that. That's gonna be part of the actual thing that's responsible for it, which would be the preview, I suppose. And then something went wrong. Oh, where's the description? There we go. That would be something like that, right? Oh, that's also an error message. Wait a minute. Wait, error title. Why do they have different? Okay, so I think we're gonna grab that one because this has the same, right? Oh, that doesn't have title. Okay. So this would be, yeah, let's bring in title and description here. Oh, I just want to get the, yeah, and then this shouldn't be error message class name. What's this error message? Error code? True? That makes me scared. Yeah. I'm not sure about this. Error message class name. Why does it say error code true? I want to say that this should be the description, and then you have children. Let's just try that. Cool. Okay, I guess we don't need that one for now. Okay, what happens now? Oh yeah, because now we actually have to show Sandpack error overlay. So this is coming from the preview. Title, preview, description, no idea. And then it's the same here. This is coming from transpile code. Yeah, so that will be, well, let's comment out this one as well. Because this transpile code should be responsible for showing what error it should be. Like, it's so weird to just have a generic error overlay and then internally it evaluates what to show. No, we have to pass it in from the source of the error. Okay. Okay, nice. So, okay, at least we... So where was that other place where I guess that was in the preview. Let's see. Show Sandpack error overlay. Yeah, if runtime. So let's just comment out the whole thing for now. Oh yeah, I have to build it again. So it's kind of a boring process right now because we kind of need the fundamentals to be running, but then it should be more fun as we get running. Oh yeah, and then we need to actually show the code editor. So that will be dashboard. Let's see. Oh, it's not defined. Shouldn't there be a code editor here somewhere? That's weird. Oh, wait, sorry. I think it's because we're returning null, right? I don't have an active file. Okay, so we, yeah, I'm a little bit unsure about that. Okay, but what we can do, we can, I know there's an option, right, to pass in, I'm not sure where it is, custom setup options, active file. Let's try to do that one, and then we're gonna use that thing. Yeah, yeah, it's really great that you're here, Jacob, because having used the thing, like I haven't actually, like I think I've played with Sandpack briefly related to some internal proof of concepts, but I'm not like an actual consumer of Sandpack. So the thing that's most important to me is that we still keep a great like surface, like passing options and everything, but it has to change, because passing options for the browser bundling is so different than passing options for like a VM environment, for example. But I'm still curious about like how that's going to be achieved, because one thing is from developer perspective, if you're conscious about what environment you want to run, we could have like different providers for the different environments, but I don't think that's the right way to do it, because you might just want to send an ID, and then we are going to infer the environment you need to run based on what the sandbox actually is. So if it's a VM sandbox, we run it in a VM environment. If it's like a React browser sandbox, we're going to run it in the React environments and stuff like that. So, but at the same time, it's weird to have like browser-based options mixed with VM options and so on. So yeah, we need to figure this out. But what we can do is, did we put the sandbox options? Yeah, at the top. So we should be able to use options here. Use Sandpack options. Oh, sorry, not here, but here. So we're gonna say options, active file, or null. Oh. Oh, can you have multiple files? Extend Sandpack files. Hello there. And that's, it's going good. I think it's a little bit, there's some rough patches in the beginning. Like our first day with this project was like horrible. I was cursing constantly in the stream about build environments, but we're past that at least. And there's a lot of untangling happening here now, so I'm diverging a lot, but I'm quite comfortable. Like that's one of the things I guess, like when you get to a certain point of experience, you get to a point where you're able to kind of identify your strengths and weaknesses. And I talked about my weaknesses a lot. Like I'm not very like I'm very much of a beginner type of person. I like the beginning of projects through during the idea phase, like architecture and stuff like that. And I'm and also I'm not that great at like product development. In the sense that I much more enjoy building products for other developers than end users. There's also something I just don't have the same passion for end users as I have for, and I think it's just based on my experience in open source. Anyways, my point is that doing like what we're doing now, just it's completely overwhelming, this code base for me, because I have absolutely no ownership in it. But that's something I've gotten good at. It's like just sitting with that feeling of being completely overwhelmed, just taking in a shit ton of input. It doesn't make any sense. Just creating these tiny hooks in my brain and then like, oh, I'll sleep on that, and let's comment this out, and we'll revisit that, and so on and so on. And then at the end of the day, you suddenly built this like strong mental image in your head of what this thing actually is and how it should work. So hopefully we'll get there. Yeah, dev tooling is awesome. Like it's really funny. Like I have all these ideas. I had a shit ton of ideas on like how to build end user experiences, but it always falls apart. I lose the passion after I release like the first like test version, because then the real work begins, which is like tracking users and exposing the product to other people. And there's so much like non-coding kind of work that's just super boring to me. But then like building these different state management libraries, they have like the most fun I've had building like what's close to an end user experience are the dev tools. So like, for example, the Cerebral debugger, like that was a huge ass project. Like it's a very complex client, and I had a ton of fun building it. And the same with, and I had like maybe 5 iterations on it or something. And then the same for like Overmind, same dev tooling experience. Had a lot of fun building that. But it's for developers, and that makes it fun for some reason. Anyways, active file. Yeah, it's, and I also had this other project that I showed internally at CodeSandbox. Maybe I can demo that once. It's like, so these dev tools for state management is more about like getting information from your app and showing like what's your state and what actions has run and all of this stuff. But also built this tool where you had this node canvas where you could like add, you could drag and drop like these different types of state management nodes, and then you could connect them, and it would actually write the code for you. So it would kind of connect classes together, and also like it was really, really cool. I think I have a video on it. Anyways, I'm gonna find that video because it's really, really cool. Yeah, you know what? I want to see if I can find it. I can share it. YouTube. What would I call that? Yeah, for sure. Have a nice meeting. State visual state management or something. Do I have it here somewhere? I have no idea what I call that thing. Yeah, no, I would have to look through a shit ton of I'm just gonna do a quick look here. Node state management Mobex node. Yeah, no, I have no idea. I'm gonna try to find it. It's a really, really cool project. Anyways, let's get back to the coding. So we can pass in I guess an object key of files. Oh, so that's an array, right? Okay, so maybe we get away by just passing. Wait a minute. Here I passed in. Oh, so I guess from this perspective, it can be. Wait a minute. How does this work? Yeah, that's just okay. So I think we're just going to check if if that's a string. Or no. Cool. Let's build it again. Oh, well, something happened. Oh yeah, we have a use Sandpack again. Inside code mirror. Ugh. Use Sandpack. Let's just remove it. What is it listening to? Shit, this was a big... Yeah, auto reload. Yeah, that's interesting. So we are running... Oh, what's this? Message type, action, show error, path, line. Oh, so are we able to show errors from... Oh, that's cool. So I guess Sandpack is able to... Oh, sorry. So I guess Sandpack has the ability to send error events. So you can annotate them in the code editor, which is pretty cool. But the VMs can't do that. So I think this would have to be... Yeah, but this could also be generic. Like we can pass... I'm just going to comment out this thing for now. Where is the end of this? There it is. So we're gonna do a to-do here as well. Send generic. So this is action show error. Oh, type is action, and then action is show error. Okay. Allow sending action generic. It's a little bit... So this is only available for the bundler. Huh. Yeah, let's just put a question mark around that for now. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at us loading code. Yay! We have gotten further. So what we could try to do now is... How does it actually look? Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So what we're going to try now is actually allow you to change the active file. So that would be in the file explorer. I think we have a hook for it. Select file, and this would be file path. And then I think we can say Sandpack state. Oh, we need to be able to set the active file value. Wait. Oh, sorry. Set active file path. Oh yeah. So one thing is the this is so annoying. Okay, I guess we just have to type yeah, so this is so Sandpack state is the thing we expose on the context. So this is kind of like the internal thing. Okay, so this is kind of annoying. So I think we're just going to do this. That's a thing that I've learned recently, is that I'm overdoing types. Like it's hard to build up an intuition for where you need to use types and where you don't need to use types. But yeah, by just removing that, it infers that this is an active file. And then we have, this infers that we actually have the correct type. So we're all good. And then in the file explorer, we can say Sandpack state set active file path. Let's see what happens. Oh, I guess we have to build it. Yeah, the next question though is, yeah, what are we gonna do next? But I think I'm gonna eat some food before we go and do the next thing. Oh, that didn't work. No such file. Oh, yeah. So module list select file. I guess it's in the actual file. Oh, that's interesting. Why doesn't it have the correct path? Split pop. Yeah, because that's of course the file. Oh, file name. Yeah, but we have to select. Where's select file? Yeah, it's the path. Why isn't it finding it? Oh, I think I know why. We're not actually passing the full path here. So we're going through the directories. We have active file and then we have path. Oh, and then we join path with directory path. Yeah. Oh, I know why. So we join path with file. That's it, I think. So let's start again. Look at that. Look at us having, and the point now is that the file explorer is async. Like everything's async. Reading the file, reading the file explorer, everything. Okay. I guess what we should try to do is, what happens if I try to, okay, so, oh, it actually works. That's pretty cool. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, because I'm writing the file and that triggers an update here. So that's pretty cool. Okay, but I'm happy where we're at now. At least now we actually have all the main pieces in place. So let's reflect on what the next step needs to be. Because there's one, yeah, so what we can do, okay, so one alternative is, okay, we got the main pieces in place. We've proven our vertical integration of introducing Sandpack environments. using the static environment. And what we could do now, we could move to the actual bundler environment, implement that. And that's also going to expose us to a lot of the options that we need to handle, all these new messages that we need to handle, the error messages, the show error action, all of that stuff. I think that will make a lot of sense. We're going to move our static file system into like a generic in-memory file system that we're going to share across the static environment and the bundler environment. Yeah, I think we're going to do that next. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to stop the stream. I'm going to eat some food, and then I'm going to do another stream, and we're going to implement the actual bundler environment in Sandpack environments. Cool. Yeah, thanks for the curiosity. And I'll speak to you soon if you want to join again. Okay, bye for now.